Let's talk about the Flash, guys, because guess what? It happens every week, and this show happens weekly, so we talk about it. This is season 2, episode 3, Family of Rogues. Full spoilers follow. Barry and the team ally with the kidnapped Captain Cold's sister, but Barry feels duped when he learns Start is working on something with his father. Joe also faces a difficult decision. Let's go ahead and I want to say the shit with Joe and his ex-wife and all that, I just didn't really get into at all.
Nah, that stuff feels like a weird sort of like added on tangent thing. I'm actually really, although I will say I'm really happy that when he finally built up the courage to tell Iris, I'm happy that she almost immediately just went, "It's okay, I understand." I'm like, "Oh, good, we don't have to deal with like 3 episodes of you being mad at him. Great."
Yeah, I was very thankful of that. It was like, while watching, I was like, okay, how to deal with emotional trauma? Cry more than the other person, and they'll give in.
I actually thought that was probably the best scene in the entire episode.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I thought his
Because
scene was good because his acting was good.
yeah, his
Yeah.
acting is. I think he's the best actor on the show, honestly, and I think you could see that in that scene. And it just like it made rational sense the way that she reacted because she could see that he was really fucking torn up over it, and so obviously she's like, oh well, I can see where he's coming from, and so I'm not going to be a little bitch about it, and I'm gonna make sense here. So I really really like that scene. The main plot line I thought was pointless because at the very end, what happens is that Snart's sister has thermite in her neck, which is a bomb, and if it's exposed to air, she blows up. And also, her father has a detonator, right? And so she ends up getting away from them somehow. Like she just randomly shows up, and she's like at the lab and everything, and this romance that she's had with Cisco ends up developing and everything. But by the end of it, uh, like Captain Cold and his dad and the Flash are like standing and staring off with each other, and the Flash tells Captain Cold, "Okay, she's safe," and then he fucking shoots him, right? His dad. Like, why didn't he just shoot him to begin with?
Yeah, he can't detonate something if his whole body is covered in ice.
Right. It's like you have a fucking gun that freezes things. It's like, why did we have to go through this whole spiel and just shoot him and then take her over to where you can fix it?
That's a fair
To
point.
give the semblance of some kind of good within these characters so that you can make the series go. Peter, I know we haven't gotten to your feelings yet, but I'm going to side with Alan here on... I'm a little down on this episode. I'm a little cold on it, if you will. It just didn't work. Its characterization wasn't quite there. I felt the network notes really hard, where in the previous lay-on and then also in the actual episode, anything with Jay Garrick never mentioned that he was the Flash in his universe. Just he is a speedster that was a hero of some kind. It was like, yeah, people that just tune into this one episode won't, if they threw that shit in, it would be too much and blow their minds. And the rest of the characterization when it came to the sister and why she would ever develop a romance with Cisco just because he managed to not blow her up, and so you want to fuck the guy that doesn't blow you up, I guess. It didn't really work for me. What did you think, Peter?
I agree with some of these points. I do think I've never really cared for Captain Cold's sister in this show. I've never really found her engaging or believable or anything other than a plot device.
Hot. Oh, plot device.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, cold. Whatever. Not hot. She can't be hot. She's cold.
Yeah, actually, I don't have so much a problem with the whole plot, the A plot, as it were, being pointless because he could have shot him at any time. That's true. I mean, I can just sort of accept that as he wasn't ready to kill his father until more shit happened. Whatever, fine. I have more problem. I mean, with the science of some of the stuff that was going on. Now, the show has been quite silly with science in the past, and I'm usually quite easygoing with it. I don't really care. I'm here to have fun. But if you freeze lasers,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the actual lines of like frozen lasers won't just be there.
Oh my god.
Maybe that's just. I'm not a scientist, of course. Maybe a chemist or someone can come in and tell us if this is even remotely not stupid. But it felt really stupid.
Mario,
Yeah.
as an engineer, what is a laser?
What do you mean? It's an acronym. First of all, it's not. I don't know if you guys even knew that.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what happened in this.
Basically,
So
Cold shoots his cold gun. You know, like
Okay.
the whole lasers when you try to break into a place and there's like lasers to sense you.
Okay.
Right. Cole shoots his freeze gun at it, or sorry, cold gun as he points out in the episode, and
Yeah.
they all freeze, and there's like frozen rods where the lasers were.
No.
So there you go. There you go.
Because it's essentially light, right? It's just
No,
it's
it
light.
is.
Yes.
It is light.
yeah.
It's light. You can't. What? No. You could get it to refract. You can get it to show up if you condense the air so much that it would show
Yeah,
up.
if anything, that might make it worse.
Well, you could get it to refract, and that'd be even worse because now you get one laser into a bunch of lasers.
Exactly.
But ultimately, it's one of those lasers where it detects, like, if anyone breaks it, and then it would make an alarm go off.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you remotely refract it, you're not getting enough feedback on the other side for it to register as a full laser hitting it, that it would make the alarm go off. So no matter what you did with the cold, it still wouldn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Captain Cold, he has a
He
freeze
fro-
gun.
A cold gun, not
Wait,
a nice
they-
gun, not a freeze gun.
He has
froze
he has a
lasers?
membership to
Yes.
TCBY, and he knows cold. So lasers
That-
aren't any problem.
Look, I stick
Why
up for
wouldn't
this
the
show a
light
lot.
around him, like, freeze?
Go see
Exactly.
Literally, the light around you would freeze, and you...
Uh,
What?
Look, I stick up for this show because I do really enjoy it. But there's
I
some
do.
stupidity.
There's a lot of stupidity, I think.
There is.
Well, no. Let me finish my fucking sentence. She just jumped in there with a
Go
response.
ahead.
Right.
Alright.
There's some stupidity that I will not abide. This is one of those cases where even my lame-ass knowledge of science makes this feel stupid. That was stupid. There were some stuff. I like the opening scene where Iris has to jump out the window and Barry comes and saves her, and just how, like, that was fucking cool. I just saved you, and she's like, yeah, you just saved me jumping out a window. I like that. There was only 2 minutes, but I liked it. As for anything else, I mean, I at least like the fact that Captain Cole's dad's a complete dickhead because he was in the comics as well. That is something that is from the comic source. I like Michael Ironside, so at least I liked him showing up. Definitely, this was a weak episode. This was one of the weakest episodes they've done because of just the really silly main plot.
And it did almost nothing. I mean, the cliffhanger to this episode is the exact same cliffhanger as last episode, which is, oh no, Professor had a stroke, maybe. Except this time, fire was involved. So.
Oh right, yeah.
Blue
I was
fire.
going to talk about the wells. The wells from Earth 2 seems to be in Earth 1 now.
Well, that was like a
Post
tag.
credit, yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about like how the episode actually ended, like cut to black. It was the exact same thing. Oh no, he passed out. What's happening with Firestorm? Well, something, obviously. Like, do more research. Don't be an idiot.
I guess now though, at least we know it's not a health thing. It's like a firestorm power related thingamajig.
Yeah, it just felt like everything in this episode is very inconsequential.
Well, when you've got 22 episodes this season, I think you end up with a few of those.
I guess I should have expected that from episode 3. But
You see, like going back to the
episode
father
3 of
thing,
any season of any CW show, you could probably skip.
yeah.
Well, except this one, because episode 2 was skippable, so episode 3 will probably be important.
episode 2 is less skippable than this episode.
Oh, this was episode 3.
Yeah.
I thought it was episode 2. I'm getting confused. Yeah, fair point.
This is episode 3.
Yeah. Okay, fair point.
Anyway, Alan, you were going to say something, and then we're going to move on.
I was just going to say that going back to the whole father thing with Captain Cold, there's supposed to be like this camaraderie between Captain Cold and the Flash, right? And in, what was it, the last episode or was it the first episode where his father or Flash's father ends up leaving? Like he gets freed and then he leaves, everything. It seems like there's this whole thing about like, you know, relationships between a father and their child, because like they're trying to build that with Iris and everything. And you had this thing where it's like the opposite side of the law dealing with a father and a son. So like Barry can like really kind of like connect with Captain Cold that way. I didn't really feel anything like that. I didn't feel him like get mad about killing his father because he's like, you have your father here, you know? It's like he didn't get jealous or anything like that. He was kind of like, okay, you know, that happened, and now you know you're in prison.
Yeah, it just seemed like part of the process and not really any kind of emotional. Nothing came up from it, you know.
I just didn't really get like any kind of depth from it that I was
exactly.
that I would really
Yeah,
like.
there you go. That's what I was.
You know, and I just felt like that was a really big missed opportunity.
I just want to point out, I do feel like the head blowing up thing is actually just a reference to Scanners, which Michael Ironside was in, because that movie's famous for having blown up heads.
Go check out those GIFs on Imgur. We're going to talk about Arrow now. Season 4, Episode 3, entitled Restoration. Full spoilers follow if you care about Arrow. The growing tension between Oliver and Diggle puts both their lives at risk because neither of them like each other's outfits. And blah, 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 blah. Peter, you want to talk about this?
By the end of the episode, Diggle and Oliver's issues are resolved in the most neat and tidy way they could possibly have done it, because Oliver takes a bullet for Diggle, and
Oh, wow, that sounds so great. I'm gonna use the bathroom.
of course, it's not actually a bullet. It's a playing card which has actually been ripped off of skin, because the metahuman can take playing cards off his body and throw them at people.
Wait. Is he like made of playing cards?
No, it's like his tattoos. He had tattoos of playing cards, but he can like take them off his skin and throw them at people.
So it's kind of like in Electra, where that guy had tattoos of like animals, and then he like meditated, and all the animals like came out of him and fought Electra.
I guess so. I guess.
You're making me sad.
I don't. That's not.
That was a thing. That wasn't a movie.
We're trying to. We're getting a new Electra, Alan. Just
Okay.
mere months away. Let's just forget that happened.
Yeah, let's not talk about the
Sorry.
movie Electra. Let's talk
Continue,
about
Peter.
something slightly higher quality, which is Arrow. Emphasis on slightly.
I do love that double-edged insult there.
Yeah, so that's the main plot. Basically, is there's this playing card guy, and Ollie and Diggle are still pissed at each other, and Felicity gets pissed about it and says, "You need to sort out your differences." Blah blah blah. And that's the main plot of the episode. The other plot of the episode is the fact that Laurel and Thea have taken Sarah's corpse to Nana Parbat to use the Lazarus Pit.
No.
They put her in the Lazarus Pit. She comes out all sort of crazy, and they have to chain her up. And I guess we'll see how that goes. But the whole thing's sort of null and void, because we know she's going to be fine, because she's in Legends of Tomorrow as a hero. Like, so we know she's going to be better later.
Right.
One thing that they did do in this though is that that one that Mario has the hots for, Nissa, she actually destroys the pit after this because she thinks it's wrong that they used it. And I think for me, what that was the writers going, look, we can't have a magic pit that brings people back to life whenever they die, because that's a writing problem. Like, we can't, like, we have to have death mean something.
Yeah.
So we're going to
Well,
just...
except for this one exception.
Yeah, well, but this, like, the problem is going forward though is every time someone dies, it's like, well, let's take them to the pit and resurrect them, and then they'll get better, like Sarah does eventually. This way, that's gone, and death actually theoretically should matter now. Again, honestly, this was just kind of like the next part of the main story thing. My favorite part's actually the new guy, Mr. Terrific. He's quite likable for the most part. So that's good. As far as episodes are go, it was fine. Like it wasn't, certainly wasn't a complete chore to sit through, but it wasn't great either.
Awesome. That sounded like a great bathroom break. Because it was. Oh, Arrow also happened. So good job. Was it good, Peter?
It was okay for our standards.